Now this is Acts chapter 5 verses 1 through to 11. And a man named Ananias with his wife Sapphira sold a piece of property and kept back some of the price for himself with his wife's full knowledge, and bringing a proportion of it, he laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and to keep back some of the price of the land? While it remained unsold, did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, was it not under your control? Why is it that you have conceived this deed in your heart? You have not lied to men, but to God. And as he heard these words, Ananias fell down and breathed his last, and great fear came over all who heard of it. The young man got up and covered him up, and after carrying him out, they buried him. Now there elapsed an interval of about 3 hours, and his wife came in, not knowing what had happened. And Peter responded to her, Tell me whether you sold the land for such and such a price. And she said, Yes, that was the price. Then Peter said to her, Why is it that you have agreed together to put the Spirit of the Lord to the test? Behold, the feet of those who buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out as well. And immediately she fell at his feet and breathed her last. And the young men came in and found her dead, and they carried her out and buried her beside her husband. And great fear came over the whole church and over all who heard these things. You bet it did. Two people coming in to give a gift, to lay it at the apostles' feet, and yet they lied. They lied because they implied, we've sold this piece of land, we've got, I don't know how much it would have been, let's say £100,000 for this piece of land, here's the £100,000. Whereas in actual fact they'd sold it for £150,000 and kept back £50,000 of it for themselves. Now listen, Peter says, while it remained unsold, did it not remain your own? You didn't have to sell this piece of land. While it remained unsold, it was yours to do whatever you liked with. And after it was sold, wasn't it under your control? The money was under your control. If it was £150,000, you could have done whatever you liked with that £150,000. You could have kept back £50,000 and given us £100,000 if that's what you wanted, or you could have just kept the whole amount. But you have said, I've sold this land and I've given it all to God's people. We don't know why they chose to do that. We don't know why. We can only surmise that perhaps they wanted the prestige of people seeing that they had given away all this money and that they now no longer had anything. But in actual fact, they'd kept back some of the money. And because they lied, well, I suppose they did lie to the apostles, but Peter says you lied to the Holy Spirit. You lied to the Holy Spirit, and Ananias fell down dead. And Sapphira, when she comes in, she says, yeah, that's what we've done. And he says, you've lied to the Holy Spirit. And she fell down dead too. It's a holy thing. Jesus said, when you give, don't let anyone know what you're doing. When you give, just give. And here we have these people who money has caused them, their wealth has caused them to lie. Paul said that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, and the love of that money caused Ananias and Sapphira to lie to the Holy Spirit. We should always be careful with money. We should always be careful about leading others to believe that we are more spiritual and doing more spiritual things than we actually are. We must be the ones who walk quietly and humbly with the Lord. Ananias and Sapphira, they had this land. They sold it. They could have done whatever they liked with the money. There was no problem. There was no obligation on them. There was no obligation on them to give a tenth of it to God's people. There was no obligation whatsoever. But they lied to the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit said, well, I can't have you as part of God's people on the earth today. And they both fell down dead at the apostles' feet.